Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. I hope you're having an amazing day. It is Tuesday, May 27th, 2014, and we're going to do the facts of the matter. But I can't believe May is almost already over, guys. June is so closely upon us. It's this weekend. Wow, time flies. Today's facts of the matter. Is it possible to live a righteous life in a godless environment? The answer, of course, is yes. Daniel of the Old Testament is probably our best example of someone who did it with class. You may remember that as a Jewish lad, Daniel, along with 3 compatriots, was taken captive into wicked Babylonia. Throughout his life, he demonstrated God's faithfulness by choosing to live righteously amidst life-threatening pressures to conform otherwise. Here's the bottom line. Daniel lived in Babylonia, but Babylonia did not live in Daniel. 4 observations on how Daniel did it. Number 1, determination. Daniel determined in his heart not to eat the king's defiled food. He knew it was defiled, and he knew it was unworthy of his God, so he did not partake in it. Question. Working as many of you do in marketplace, where compromise is a daily occurrence, have you determined in your heart to not take that first step towards defilement? Say you work in a car dealership, best thing to, and you know the car is not worth what your boss or your coworker is selling it for. What do? You're going to compromise what you know is right and allow him to get away with it? Allow him to sell somebody a car worth less than what they're selling it for? Two, deliverance. Daniel chose to believe God for deliverance amidst humanly impossible circumstances. And I love that, because God can deliver you from anything and everything, my brothers and sisters. Everything. He can deliver you from every possible scenario. One example was Daniel's commitment to interpret the king's dream before God guaranteed him the interpretation. Failure would surely cost him his life. Daniel chapter 2, verses 1 through 23. And in the 2nd year of the reign of Nebuchadnezzar dreamed dreams, wherewith his spirit was troubled, and his sleep brake from him. Then the king commanded to call the magicians, and the astrologers, and the sorcerers, and the Chaldeans, for to show the king his dream. So they came and stood before the king. And the king said unto them, I have dreamed a dream, and my spirit was troubled to know the dream. Then spake the Chaldeans to the king in Skyrach, O king, live forever. Tell thy servant thy dream, and we will shew the interpretation. The king answered and said to the Chaldeans, The thing is gone from me. If ye will not make known unto me the dream, with the interpretation thereof, ye shall be cut in pieces, and your house shall be made a dunghill. But if ye show the dream, and the interpretation thereof, ye shall receive of me gifts and rewards and great honors. Therefore shew me the dream and the interpretation thereof. Then they answered again and said, "Let the king tell his servants the dream, and we will shew the interpretation of it." They weren't listening, were they? The king answered and said, "I know of certainty that ye would gain the time, because ye see the things is gone from me. But if ye will not make known unto me the dream, there is but one decree for you. For ye have prepared lying and corrupt words to speak before me, till the time be changed. Therefore tell me the dream, and I shall know that ye can show me the interpretation therefore." He knew that in the past they had lied to him just to tell him what he wanted to hear. He wasn't as stupid as they thought he was. 10. The Chaldeans answered before the king and said, "There is not a man upon the earth that can show the king's matter. Therefore there is no king, lord, nor ruler that asks such things at any magician or astrologer or Chaldean. And it is a rare thing that the king requireth, and there is none other that can show it before the king except the gods, whose dwelling is not with flesh. For this cause the king was angry and very furious, and commanded to destroy all the wise men of Babylon. And the decree went forth that the wise men should be slain, and they sought Daniel and his fellows to be slain. Verse 14. Then Daniel answered with counsel and wisdom to Arioch, the captain of the king's guard, which was gone forth to slay the wise men of Babylon. He answered and said to Arioch, the king's captain, "Why is the decree so hasty from the king?" Then Arioch made the things known to Daniel. Then Daniel went in and desired of the king that he would give him time, and that he would show the king the interpretation. Then Daniel went into his house and made the things known to Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, his companions. Verse 18. That they would desire mercies of the God of heaven concerning the secret, that Daniel and his fellows should not perish with the rest of the wise men of Babylon. Verse 19. Then was the secret revealed unto Daniel in a night vision. Then Daniel blessed the God of heaven. Daniel answered and said, "Blessed be the name of God forever and ever, for wisdom and might are his. And he changeth the time and the season, he removeth kings, and he setteth up kings. He giveth wisdom unto the wise, and knowledge to them that know understanding. He revealeth the deep and secret things. He knoweth what is in the darkness, and the light dwelleth with him." And the last verse, verse 23. "I thank thee and praise thee, O thou God of my fathers, who hast given me wisdom and might, and hast made known unto me now what we desireth of thee. For thou hast now made known unto us the king's matter." The key verse of that is Daniel chapter 2, verse 16. Then Daniel went in and desired of the king that he would give him time, and that he would show the king's interpretation. He didn't even question it. He knew God would give him the interpretation. He chose to believe God, even when he knew he humanly, and yes, I said it that way deliberately, that Daniel humanly, possibly, could not do it on his own. That the interpretation would have to come from God and God alone. You can also read Daniel chapter 6, verses 6 through 23. for another time when there was an interpretation needed. Sorry. Question. Are you willing to take steps of faith when warranted that could cost you an account, that car sale, diminish your production? You'll make less because you won't compromise, or otherwise adversely affect your career? Don't think you'll be much of a car salesman if you don't compromise your beliefs. Are you willing to lose your job for the Lord, for your faith, for your non-willing to compromise? Dependence. Number 3, dependence. In time of crisis, Daniel chose to be dependent upon his compatriots. In the instances cited in 1 and 2 above, Daniel enlisted the support or prayers of his 3 Jewish companions. Daniel chapter 1 verses 9 through 20. Now God had brought Daniel into favor and tender love with the prince of the eunuchs. And the prince of the eunuchs said unto Daniel, I fear my lord the king, who hath appointed your meat and your drink. For why should he see your faces worth liking than the children which are of your sort? Then shall ye make me endanger my head to the king. Then said Daniel to Melzar, whom the prince of the eunuchs had set over Daniel, Hanan, Mishael, and Azariah, prove thy servants, I beseech thee, 10 days, and let them give us pulse to eat and water to drink. Then let our countenance be looked upon before thee, and the countenance of the children that eat of the portion of the king's meat, and as thou seest, deal with thy servant. So he consented to them in this matter, and proved them 10 days. And at the end of the 10 days of their continence appear fairer and fatter in flesh than all the children which did eat the portion of the king's meat. Thus Melzar took away the portion of their meat and the wine that they should drink, and gave them pulse. Verse 17. As for these 4 children, God gave them knowledge and skill in all learning and wisdom, and Daniel had understanding in all visions and dreams. Now at the end of the days that the king had said he should bring them in, then the prince of eunuchs brought them in before Nebuchadnezzar. And the king communed with them, and among them all was found none like Daniel, Hanan, Mishael, and Azariah. These names, sorry guys. Therefore stood they before the king. In verse 20. And in all matters of wisdom and understanding, that the king inquired of them, he found them 10 times better than all the magicians and astrologers that were in all his realm. Chapter 2, verse 17 and 18. Then Daniel went in his house, and made the things known to Hannah, Mishael, and Arez, his companions, that they would desire mercies of the God of heaven concerning the secret, that Daniel and his fellows should not perish with the rest of the wise men of Babylon. Daniel went in and enlisted the support and or prayers of his Jewish companions. Question. Are you locked in with a team of friends whom you look to for mutual moral and spiritual support? Or are you choosing to tough it out alone? Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verses 9 and 10. 2 are better than 1, because they have a good reward for their labor. For if they fall, the one will lift up his fellow. But woe to him that is alone when he falleth, for he hath not another to help him up. It's always better when you have your fellow Christian companions, spiritual support team, to help you in those times of trials, testings. You can't do it on your own. I know from experience. And was a hard experience. Trying to do everything on my own. Oh, I don't need to inquire the help from my pastor, my friends, my brothers and sisters in Christ. It's not like I don't know what they're gonna say anyways. I can do this on my own. No. No, I couldn't. I was able to overcome more trials, tests, when I had the support of my brothers and sisters in Christ, when I talked to them, when I spoke with them, even just for guidance. They helped me understand what I wasn't seeing on my own. Decency. Number 4, decency. Daniel chose to live a life of uncompromising decency. After interpreting the king's dream, he chose not to yield to the king's influence by accepting his gifts. Daniel chapter 5, verse 17. Then Daniel answered and said before the king, Let thy gifts be to thyself, and give thy rewards to another. Yet I will read the writing unto the king, and make known to him the interpretation. You can also consider Daniel chapter 6, verses 1 through 5. It pleased Darius to set over the kingdom 120 princes, which should be over the whole kingdom, and over these 3 presidents, of whom Daniel was first, that the princes might give accounts unto them, and the king should have no damage. Then this Daniel was preferred above the presidents and princes, because an excellent spirit was in him, and the king thought to set him over the whole realm. Then the presidents and princes sought to find occasion against Daniel concerning the kingdom, but they could find none occasion nor fault. For as much as he was faithful, neither was there any error or fault found in him. Then, verse 5, Then said these men, We shall not find any occasion against this Daniel, except we find it against him concerning the law of his God. Imagine that. That's the whole thing right there. They don't come against you, Christians, fellow brothers and sisters in Christ. They don't come against you. They come against God. Whatever they speak out on you, it's not really you. It's what you're doing. That verse, if they hated me, they will surely hate you. I know that ain't the proper verse because it's not right in front of me, but if they hate me, they're going to hate you, and they will hate you for my name's sake. Question. Has your moral integrity been compromised by receiving gifts or favors from those in positions of power or authority? Proverbs chapter 23, verses 1 through 3. When thou sittest to eat with the ruler, consider diligently what is before thee, and put a knife to thy throat, if thou be a man given to appetite. Be not desirous of his dainties, for they are deceitful meat. Don't think that you're above testing, trials. Everybody is tested. Everybody has to be put through the fire. Here's the big question. You are in the world, but is the world in you? John chapter 17, verses 13 through 19. And now come I to thee, and these things I speak in the world, that they might have my joy fulfilled in themselves. I have given them the word, and the word hath hated, and the world, here it is, and the world hath hated them, because they are not of the world, even as I am not of the world. I pray not that thou shouldest take them out of the world, but that thou shouldest keep them from the evil. That they are not of the world, even as I am not of the world. Sanctify them through thy truth. Thy word is truth. And thou hast sent me into the world, even so I have also sent them into the world. And for their sakes I sanctify myself, that they also might be sanctified through the truth. Compromising has been a big issue, a big topic in our church. There has been so much compromising in this world. We think it's okay that homosexuality is running rampant. Oh, it's okay. No. It wasn't okay in Babylonian time. Why is it okay now? Because Christians have compromised their beliefs. Oh, it's okay to tell your kids little white lies. That's fine. Yes, the Easter Bunny's real and Santa Claus is real. You're imparting lies onto them. Little white lies are more damaging than blown, full-fledged lies. Because a lie is a lie is a lie. No matter if it's a little white lie or the biggest lie you've ever told. Compromising. And Christians should not be. You should not compromise your beliefs for what the world believes. You should not compromise your values for what your friends think. Oh no, it's okay. Here, hit this joint. No. Oh no, your boss won't know. Go ahead, take that ream of paper. Take that stack of pencils. What are you compromising? And I know it's been a big issue, but it's one that has to be spoke on. Too many Christians are compromising their values, their beliefs, their God for the world. It is possible to live a righteous life in this godless environment. And that is the facts of the matter for Tuesday, May 27th, 2014. Peace be in you, my brothers and sisters. May the Lord have mercy on us all. I love you guys so very much. God bless.